Hey girls, so today I'm going to go over the anatomy of a lacrosse stick. Before we start, just make sure that you have like an actual girls lacrosse stick, because you'd be surprised at how many people, just buy their daughters sticks just because they think it's the right one, but it's not. It's not exactly the easiest now that like women's sticks have the meshing, but the way I used to be able to tell the difference between a girl's stick and a guy's stick was, the netting. So like the girl's stick have these strings kind of strung throughout it, and the men's sticks typically have the mesh. But like I said, there are some women's sticks now that have the mesh. So what I would recommend now is if you pay attention to the shaft, because women's sticks are typically thinner than a man's. So they look about the same on the video, but this one's a little bit thinner than this one. This one's a bit thicker. And just the way that it's kind of like the pocket is set up, it's different. So I can tell this is a guy's stick because of how deep the pocket goes. So if I were to drop a ball in, you see how deep the ball goes into the stick, how it's dipping down below this? That's how I know that the net is loose, and this is something that typically is used in a men's game. So for the women's, what you want to do is ideally, and I just untied my stick a little bit so it's not going to be right. So you see how it's not dipping in as far as the guy's stick, but it's still a little bit deep, right? So this is basically an indication to me that my strings are too loose. So that means I'm going to have to retie my strings. So I'm going to teach you guys how to retie your strings in case, they loosen up and that happens. So what you're going to want to do, and I just want everybody to keep in mind that everybody's sticks are different. Typically, they have the same stringing set up. So these purple ones on my stick are the shooting strings, and then on mine at least, you got like a thicker strap on the outside. Mine are leather. I don't know if everybody else's is anymore, but that's how it used to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to untie. I'm going to look at it, okay? I'm going to see what strings I need to untie, and it's usually the shooting strings that you want to aim for and the outer string. So I'm going to look for those strings. I've already untied the purple string, and then I got the leather string right here that I am now untying. Okay, so now so my strings got a little crossed, but that's okay. Alright, so now that you've got them untied, what I want you to do is I want you to get a ball, an actual lacrosse ball, not like a tennis ball, because what's going to help you determine where your strings need to be tied at is the weight of the ball. So when you're, I'll flip it this way. So when you're looking to retie your strings, what you want to do is you want to take the shooting strings, which are the strings in the middle, my purple ones. You're going to find where those strings end, and you're going to tug until you see the ball come up above this little crest on the edge of your stick. Like a women's stick is legal if the ball is poking over just a bit. You can have it dip a little, that's fine, but the ball needs to be above your top crest right here. So I'm going to tie it to where I know that it's tight enough so that it's not going to dip that low. And I'm just going to do a single knot. So I just do one over, and then a second one, tie it tight. Okay, that one's been tied. Okay, I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah. So you see I just tied a simple knot, and then drop it in. Now, the shooting strings are kind of the ones that kind of dictate how tight your stick is, and then the outer strings kind of round it out. So now that I know that my shooting strings are tight enough, I'm going to take my leather strings that are the surrounding strings, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tie a simple knot, just one in, or one over it, and then another. You can double knot it if you want. You don't have to. Some girls will knot it a few times, or they'll even braid their strings together, like the ones that hang low. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can cut some excess, but just make sure the ones that tend to loosen, just chop off a little bit. Makes it easier that way. So now that I've tied it, you see how the ball's coming over the crest? That means that this is a legal stick and I can play it in a game. If it dips lower like it did, you're not going to be allowed to play. So I want you guys, as you're practicing and you're getting used to your stick, I want you to get the hang of, recognizing, oh, is my stick not legal? And do I need to retie my strings? And then, the more you do it and the more you catch it, and the more you practice untying and retying your stick, the better you're going to be and the less time you're going to have to, be sitting off onto the side. If, let's say we come to a game and your stick is illegal and you can't play, you can't, technically play until the stick is fixed. So if you can quickly untie that thing and then tie it back, you can, go right in. But sometimes girls will, knot their stick so terribly, it takes, I've seen it take up to 10 minutes to untie it and, retie it. So just get in the habit of doing it now. Get in the habit of recognizing when it's legal and when it's not. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know.